Hello and welcome.
Good evening, good afternoon.
My name is Alex and I want all the fellow non-assistant managership managers unite. This is a safe space. What we are celebrating is our small red arrow. Despite not using a managership, which I obviously intended to use, I just slept through the deadline and I missed out on Moyes chip. I thought I'm actually gonna be activating that on Emery up until the point where we received the news about the double game week for Newcastle. And this is great news because I can extract 5 game weeks from my assistant manager chip. Hopefully Newcastle will be back on the winning track. And for this game week, I think my differentials were Raya. Many people went Pickford to Raya. Pickford is on my bench. I have both. And he delivered the points, so that's very nice. I expected Trent to be a little bit more of differential. He's owned by many people, but not extremely like big amount of people. But around my rank, he didn't really change much. But and my differential Slobozai didn't deliver. And I actually, Darwin Núñez, I have a message to you. Darwin Núñez, there is a problem. I have Slobozai in my team. Don't you dare again. I mean, at this point, I don't care because I yeeted him on my team. But you're massive fraud, bro. Like, you need to score. Slobozai, just put it on the play to Darwin Núñez. He could have scored himself, but he wasn't really greedy, which I expected him to do at least. He needs to deliver me points. I obviously had him for that certain pointer, but I had him for some blanks too. So I'm not really, like obviously some people had Gakpo and he didn't even play, and then some frauds stepped in from the bench. But the fact that Slobozai was such a nice differential, he could have hold, he takes a shot on target almost every game. But now, times are changing, my new differentials, I want to offer you a look at my new differentials. I already brought in one of these players. And of course, some of them are Bournemouth boys. A respectable manager currently probably has at least 2 Bournemouth players. And if you take a look at the heat map, Ouattara is looking like the most exciting pick just because he's occupying a lot of space in the box. The actual Chuck bot, you would be surprised. So the pick that is very popular, like for instance Kluivert, only had 1 shot in that game. A game where you expect your players to hold. And obviously Southampton away is not the easiest fixture. Yes, they are fighting for something there, but Bournemouth are, I think, they're head and shoulders better team. And for Semenyo as well, only 1 shot. And that's actually a very good shot as well, down the middle, straight down the middle, straight into the goalkeeper. But Ouattara had 4 shots, and one of them was a goal. So you decide. Obviously, every player, Kluivert, Semenyo, came out of this game with a return. And the problem is that people doubled up on Bournemouth. Most of them, I already did. I'll show my transfer, of course. But some people are considering tripling up. And I think it's not the worst idea. But, there is another exciting player who is playing at a different spot. And I want to bring your attention to a different game of Liverpool. The first game of the previous game week. And that is the game against Wolves. And I'm talking about, of course, the one and only Cunha. Look, bro, like, what? How is that a shot from this distance? Okay, I was mostly listening to the commentary of this game. I couldn't watch it. And from the commentator that was a watch-along, I realized that Liverpool were a little bit struggling, right? They won the game, probably maybe controlled it, but Cunha had chances and he scored. So if Cunha scores away at Anfield, and he has some really nice favorable fixtures, I think a player that you want to get is him, but not necessarily for this game week because they're playing against Bournemouth away. Maybe not the game where Wolves scoring a lot of goals, so you kind of play to the odds. So you probably would want to get Cunha for easier fixture, but just like keep an eye on him, and maybe that's gonna be another differential for you. And then of course another differential is Nwaneri. Many people are taking a look at the youngster who is now a deputy right winger for Bukayo Saka, and he's doing pretty well. I'm actually fascinated at how like there is a lack of like leadership in the team, and I just can't see how Odegaard is like pushing the team forward and like where the goal comes from. And apparently it's just a super sub. So super sub is like your chance in it in a way. They were controlling the game. They had chances, but they were never like threatening to score, you would say. And then Merino comes in and scores 2 goals. I wouldn't necessarily say that Merino is now out of sudden a solid pick if he's gonna be not playing off the bench. Both of these goals were like from very, very close range. He was making these runs, like it was like a header and then a tap-in pretty much. But for Nwaneri, who plays like 90 minutes now, and he's gonna be playing up until like mid-April, that is the date where Saka is gonna be eased into the games. I think it's not a bad idea. My problem with this player and why I don't want to pick players that are going to be going through like patchy fixtures is just because Arsenal aren't playing extremely favorable fixtures after West Ham. You're getting him for West Ham, where I am assuming he's getting double-digit haul. It is great. And Nwaneri with the assist and with 8 points as far as I'm concerned. Like, I would necessarily be advising you to get him. But speaking of the transfers, this is how my team looks for the game week number 26. I already made one transfer. Why did I do that so early and didn't really warn you? I was losing money and I felt like since I have Raya and Pickford, I cannot really afford losing 0.1 because it will eventually become 0.2 on the player that I brought in. And I think I even tweeted that. So you need to follow me on Twitter if you want to see my early news. Early moves, of course, not news. But goalkeeper is Ryan. So that's where I expect them to keep a clean sheet. Like, look, West Ham played at home. The last game was, I don't know, man. Everyone expected them to do something, but only, yeah, they couldn't even score at home. So, I mean, I hope it's a cleaner one. Then we have Gabriel, also a threat on the corners, as usual. 2 culprits. And that's where people are going to be playing... like, it's not like a dodgy fixture for Pickford, but playing against Man United, I mean, you never know, man. Obviously, they're plagued by injuries, but I can equally play Pickford if I want to diversify my risks. And then we have Kirkus, whom I expect to get a clean sheet me now. And finally, third defender is Robinson. So you guessed it, Trent is on the bench because he's playing against City. City are going to be very angry after conceding 3 goals to Real Madrid at home and then subsequently away. They probably would want to win a game in the same fashion that they did against Newcastle, but they're facing Liverpool. Liverpool weren't really that convincing against Villa, and the result shown that because the game ended into 2 and Villa could have easily snatched the victory there. But in my midfield, Mbeumo, whom I will probably actually haven't changed my captaincy. Mbeumo is pretty likely to become my captain. I'll talk about it in a second. And then there is the transfer. It's Justin Kluivert. I think, yes, it feels a little bit reactionary after 22 and then 13 points, holes. Many people jumped on that bandwagon. Right after that, he blanked. Well, that's how the cookie crumbles. He got 5 points in a game against Southampton. And then he has a very nice run of fixtures, and he plays in the blank game week, where I'm trying to, as you can notice, I have too many players who are blanking in 29, and I don't want to use the free hit. So I'm gonna be slowly but steadily getting rid of them from my team. Mo Salah, yes, he has the captaincy armband, but I really am itching to go for something different because that is the game where I don't think that Salah is gonna be scoring 3 goals. Although famous last words and everyone who captained Salah. GG's, well played. I guess that's the end of the season for me then. Palmer against Villa away. This is just a move. I'm just keeping him so that I can at least... I will get rid of him most likely because the downfall of Chelsea needs to be studied. I don't expect many points here. That's what I'm trying to say. Rodgers is another player that many people are selling. And I think that this is a very favorable fixture for Rodgers. Just because he wasn't scoring a lot of points previously. Based on pure variance, he needs to do something against Chelsea. And Chelsea's defense is shambolic, and yeah, it's just they're all over the place. And then we have Wood and the other striker for me is Isak. They're playing against each other, but they're not defenders, so they're attackers here. I don't care if the game ends 5-5. I would be very happy about that. On the bench, we have Trent, Greaves, and NDA. And for me, NDA is gonna be leaving my team very soon. His injury, I don't think he's gonna be playing anytime soon. Unfortunately, if I had better, I would be very happy, of course. I would have had more points. I would probably even start him in this game. I don't know. But the thing is, that's how, like, you go with template pick, NDA, owned by how many? 3%. Yeah, you go for 3% template pick, and you get punished, bro. Obviously better, bro. Like, I think he owned, like, by 1%. But maybe some people jumped on the bandwagon later. Nonetheless, this is how the team looks. I bought Kluivert a little bit before his price rise, so I am about to earn something, maybe closer to deadline on him. The plan is simple. I'm wildcarding in Gameweek 30, and because of that announcement for Gameweek 32, I will play the special assistant manager chip, and I will start gaining ground. So only one transfer. I was kind of itching to get in Nwaneri, but then I looked at the fixtures, like I said before. Nottingham Forest, Manchester United, both away. Man United could be actually obviously an easy fixture. But then it's Chelsea. Like, you see, these are not bad, but I would rather play defenders, and I have defenders for attackers. The goals can come from everywhere, and we've already seen how they are struggling in attack. So getting Nwaneri is not such a straightforward decision. So I was editing this video, and I noticed that I cannot get Cunha without sending Rodgers to someone like Nwaneri, and most likely that's gonna be my another transfer before the deadline. These are the plans for me before the wildcard in Gameweek 30. And it cannot come sooner enough because my team, I'm looking at this, I don't think I need a wild card, but I kind of want something different because I feel like everyone has the same team right now. And it's not a bad thing because they're delivering points. Barely there is someone that I think I would say, oh, I wish I had that player. But on the same side, at the same time, I think refreshing my team would be nice too. So yeah, that's been the video. I hope I'm jinxing everyone apart from my players, and I'll see you next. Peace.